This tutorial will show you how to complete the major scales drill using the accompanying chart and keyboard reference. Here's the chart and the keyboard that will reference below it. So for each one of these, you can just delete the work that you've previously done and start over again with a new scale. We look at our drill, and the first one that we're presented with is an E. So we'll go back to our chart. I'll place an E at the beginning and an E at the end, and we know that everything that we fill in between will be alphabetical. So we'll go F, G, A, B, C, and D. Then what we're going to do is look at our chart above, our formula of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And then we'll make adjustments below to make sure that we fit that formula. Our E at the beginning and the end will not change. The ones in the middle are the things that we'll be adjusting. So we start out on E, and we see that we need a whole step. So from E to F is only a half step. To make the whole step that we need, we will go up one more. Half plus half equals a whole. So that will be an F sharp. Sitting on F sharp, we need another whole step. So we go half plus half equals a whole, and we get a G sharp. From G sharp to A, we need a half step. Here, G sharp to A is already a half step, so we can leave that one alone. Next, we need a whole step. So we're on A. A to B is a whole step because there's that black key in between. So half plus half is whole, and there's our B, so we don't need to do anything to that note. Next, we're sitting on B, and we need a whole step between B and C. But if we look at B and C, that's only a half step. There's no note in between to make that a whole step. So again, we'll go half plus half equal whole, and we end up on C sharp. So now if we're sitting on C sharp and we need another whole step, we'll go half plus half, and we'll end up on D sharp. Starting on D sharp, we need to end with a half step. So D sharp to E is indeed a half step. And then if you take a look at your final product, you have an E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D sharp, and E for your scale. So there's 4 sharps, F, G, C, and D. If you can't remember those, you can just minimize this screen and then minimize your drill screen so you can see them both at the same time. But we're going to do F, G, C, and D. So E, F sharp. I had to make sure I selected the sharp note down here, and I need to make sure that I line it up exactly on the right line or space. So F sharp, G sharp, I had a normal A, a regular B, and again I had to make sure that I clicked off of the sharp note back to a natural note, but we're going to go back to a sharp for C and D, and then back to a natural E. Okay, so our next one is F. We'll go over to our chart. We'll clear it out. We'll do F, G, A, B, C, D, E, and F. And here we are starting on F. We're going to see how quickly we can do this. F to G, we need a whole step, so we're going to go half, half. That one's good. We can leave it alone. G to A, we need a whole step. We go half, half. That one's fine. We can leave it alone. A to B, we need a half step. A to B, uh-oh, that's a whole step. So what are we going to do? We're not going to go over to the right. We're not going to go higher anymore because that would create something bigger than a whole step. So instead, what we need to do is backtrack. We need to go back one note. And generally, when we move to our left, we're going to call those flats. So here we are on A. We know that we have to have a B. We can't have an A sharp. We have to have some form of B. So if we look at B and we're going to our left, we're going to call that B flat. And I'll just use a little lowercase b to represent that. So far we have F, G, A. We needed a half step, so we put in a B flat. Now we're sitting on our B flat. The next note that we need needs to be a whole step. So go half, half. We land on C, and that's a whole step, so we don't need to change anything. C to D is a whole step. D to E is a whole step. And then finally, we need a half step to end. E to F is a half step, so we don't need to do anything to that one either. So in this scale, we only needed a B flat, so we'll go back and complete this drill. We've got our F already. We'll go G, A. Now we need our B flat. We need to make sure we go back to a regular C, D, E, and F. And for the next one, you would just go back, delete what's on your chart, and start again. After you do this for a while, you'll start to remember all the accidentals that are needed in each individual scale. But for now, you need to remember this formula of whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half.